about. So Daisy, this is her cage.
Oh, okay.
So
Her aggression. She ate it all. Okay,
and then when she was put on the wrong cage, within 2 seconds she did that. And
okay.
So we did put those there specifically.
So she didn't start that. Somebody else did, but she's trying to finish it.
So one thing I would suggest, and just because I'm seeing this, that's what's making me think that, I would never feed dogs like that. I would never have two bowls side by side ever, because you're going to get fence fighting if you do that. So there's different options. Now you have these beds in there, so that limits things a little bit. But what I would maybe do, I'm trying to figure out. What you could do is always have bowls on one side. So for instance here, you have two bowls together. So if you were to have all the bowls on one side and not against the cage. So let's say the water buckets are there and you have the food dish on, not necessarily at the front of the cage because they're going to jump in and knock it over, but not right against the chain link either. And because of course this guy's food dish as well is against here. And he's old, so he doesn't care. But sometimes dogs will like put their feet through and try to flip the bowls over and that kind of thing. So
it'll work.
You might want to, sometimes they'll pull.
Yoshi's going to have to be refed.
Yeah, he's eating everything. Okay, so I'm just going to pretend that we have a dog in here. But we don't, but just visualize. Okay, so let's say we have a dog who's terrified and he's at the back of the cage and you want to take him out. So I wouldn't even use a rabies pole because that's, if the goal is, I get a leash here. If the goal is to, let's say, take the dog out there. Okay, so first of all, and this is what I wanted to talk to you guys about, it's easier for me to explain if we had a terrified biting dog, would be easier, but we're just going to pretend. So let's say there's a dog sitting in the back of that cage right now and I want to take him out there, but he clearly does not want to come with me and he looks like he might even bite me if I touch him. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to get him like this. So I'm going to, Daisy, come here for a sec. So what I'm going to do is hold this like this and I don't want to go near the biting part, right? Which is why I have a big loop here. So I'm going to, you gotta just sort of face me for a sec, please. So I'm gonna just do this, okay? And then I got the dog. Didn't go near his mouth, can't get bit, but now that I have him, I can take him out. Okay, now a lot of dogs, if they're really scared, so once you have them caught, a lot of times when you just start walking with them and you say, come here, guy, come here, good dog. And then the dog will say, oh, you're taking me somewhere. And so let's say I get him out there and now I want to take the leash off, okay? Let's say I'm just thinking, man, I don't know if he's going to bite me or not. So what I'm going to do is just do that. It's like this, and then I can at that point do that to get it off. Or if I've loosened it, I can just leave it and it'll probably fall off out there and I can pick it up later. So that's one way to get those dogs out of there. Another thing I wanted to bring up is how to approach the dog. So the worst thing that you can do, let's say that dog is in the back there, and if you're standing there going, geez, how am I going to do this? You know, and you're standing there looking at him, you are just stressing that dog out. So if you already know you have a dog who's a problem in the corner, leave him alone, go over here and go, okay, what am I going to do now? And have your plan before you go in there. Yeah. Also, when you go in, don't walk in directly, okay? So if that dog's in the corner, I do not want to walk in like this, okay? Worst thing I could do, to walk in, standing tall, looking at the dog, okay? I don't want to do that. I'm going to pretend, actually, somebody wants to hold, no, you're not getting that, kiddo. Somebody's going to hold
the
you
good
again,
stuff,
okay?
good canned food.
Okay, so we're going to pretend that this dog is scared to death of me. So let's say she's in the corner of the cage. If I want to get her out, I do not want to approach her like this, okay, and do stuff like that. What I want to do, if it's a big dog, I'm going to go in sideways, okay? I'm not going to make eye contact with that dog either. A lot of dogs, especially dogs, certain breeds, Rottie, Shepherds, that kind of thing, a lot of time if you look at them, and if you look right at them, they'll take it as a challenge. Yeah. And you don't want to get into a fight with a dog that already wants to bite you. So what I would do is, I know where the dog is. I have peripheral vision, okay? I don't have to look him in the eyes. I don't have to do anything. I'm going to go in sideways. because I do not want to look at his eyes. I can tell where he is, and I'm just going to do this. Okay, and I got the dog. I don't want to go, and I could do this to this dog, but I don't want to do this to this dog, okay? Yeah, you just think it's great. If you did that to a dog that was scared, it might just jump up and bite you in the face. So always approach sideways to those dogs, and you can see what you're doing, and even backwards. I even had dogs, when this was my boarding kennel, I even had dogs where I would go in backwards like this, and he'd be against the wall, and I would just do this, and I'd get him in there, and I would just walk away. And then the dog's like, oh, hey, you're not going to hurt me. Oh, cool. And then they just calm down. They're fine. If it was a little dog, let's say a little old guy like this, I would actually go in and I would go down like this. Very nice of you to not jump on me. Good job. So what I would do is go sideways like this. So I would be down to make myself smaller so I'm not scaring that little dog. And if it's a dog that you know isn't going to bite but it's just afraid, those ones you can also do the same thing. Make yourself small and always go sideways. Don't ever approach them head on. Always just go to their side. And if you want, some of these dogs too, what you can do just to be friends with them, never try petting their face. They don't want to be touched in the face ever, okay? So if I'm going up to a dog, we're going to pretend this is a terrified dog here. And I'm going to go up to this dog and, here for a second, come here. I'm going to touch this dog right here, okay, in the chest. Very non-threatening area. I don't want to scare this dog. I'm not going to go anywhere near its face, okay? So I'm going to rub its chest, in the front. I can even go here on the side of the shoulder, but I don't want to go near its face at all, okay? And if the dog starts to trust me a bit, and the dog thinks, okay, she's not that bad, that's when I can, again, I'm still not going to do the head, but I'm going to go up on the neck more, like where I am right here. So I'm up on the dog's neck, and I'm just slowly getting this dog used to the fact that I'm going to go kind of close to its head. Okay, so what I could do at this point, I'm still petting and petting and petting, and at this point, if I wanted to, I could loop it over the dog's head. So that's with those really scared dogs. If you get a dog that's really aggressive, and I mean aggressive, I only ever had one. It was a German Shepherd that the owner said, yeah, the owner was actually a police officer. The dog had bitten, I think, 4 people, and he said, how come nobody sued you yet, for one thing. This dog was aggressive, and I mean aggressive. So if you get that here, you just need to get rid of it. But if you do get one like that and you have to do something with it, that's where you want to use your rabies pole, because with this, obviously, if it wants to come after you, you got nothing but a wet noodle here. So if it is a really aggressive dog that's trying to bite you, that's when you want your rabies pole, and you want to make sure this is tight, and don't worry you're going to choke them, because it just doesn't matter. But you want to keep them out there. You don't want them to get near you at all, because those aggressive dogs will bite you, and you're rarely ever going to come across one of those, very seldom. But if you do, like, safety first, use a rabies pole and do what you have to do with that dog. Sometimes you can put the rabies pole on first, then get a slip lead like this on him if you're taking him to the vet or whatever, because obviously you can't really load this with the dog in your car. So you can do that, but if you get those aggressive dogs, don't ever be afraid to whack them with one of these, or do what you got to do, because dog bites are not any fun. They really hurt. And it's just not worth taking a chance with. And if you think, well, I don't really know if I can trust this dog or not, err on the side of caution and say, you know what, let's just see what happens when I get the leash on. And a lot of dogs too that you're going to run into here truly have never been on a leash in their life. Like, some of them have been running around up north somewhere. They've never had a collar on. So that's your reaction you can expect too, is some of these dogs that are kind of hiding in the back of the cage. If you put like a slip lead on like this, as soon as it tightens, some of them will just go over backwards because they think you're hanging them or something, because they just never had a collar on. So, and with those ones, what you could do is put a leash on, and let's say this dog had never had a collar on in her life and she's terrified. What I might do is put it on her like a slip lead, and I might just let her walk around with it for 20 minutes around here. And if she steps on it a few times and it tightens a little, that's okay. She'll get used to dragging behind her. And that's the same way that I leash train puppies, is to let them just walk around with it for a while. And then they get used to it. But that's the thing, you know, you might have an adult dog that could be 5 years old, never had a leash on in its life. And some of them will do the whole rodeo routine when you put a leash on, and they just have to get used to it. There's not much you can do. You know, there's no shortcuts to learning that kind of thing. They just have to go through it and learn it.
What is, so with this guy, we
Yeah.
got him in.
Yeah.
I haven't really been able to check him to see if he's neutered, because every time I touch his back end, he's like,
Oh, really? Okay.
And so I don't know if it's more because he
And
doesn't
it was-
see well.
It
or-
was a big effort to vaccinate him. We had
okay.
Well, because we had to pick him up.
Yeah, because it
Oh.
was, we had him in a burrito, and then someone had a spoon of like goo food and stuff.
Okay.
And then I was trying to get in there, and it was like it was a big deal.
Okay.
And then as soon as I got it, keep moving.
Okay.
Very, very difficult.
Okay, so this is perfect case.